Good morning, all you Facebook and YouTube users out there. Welcome back to Cooking and Canning with Michael. If you have subscribed, you'll get a notification of this video. But I am starting to make the stuffed green peppers. Got my rice cooking. And what I have done so far is I have gone ahead and I've got all my peppers ready. What I did was cut the tops off and then take all the seeds and the veins out, and then I put them in a pot of boiling hot water and let them just sit in that water for about 2 minutes, so they're kind of soft but still have a good texture to them. And so those are ready to go. When you're cutting the tops off, don't throw away this little ring. I take the center out of them, which has the stem, and then I cut these up into little pieces, and I'm going to put that in the meat mixture when I cook that along with the onions. So that way you get a little bit of green pepper inside of the mix. So I have everything measured out: my salt, my garlic. And I doubled the garlic this time because I love garlic. And I'm going to try adding a little bit of smoked paprika this time to give it just a little bit of a hint of a smoky flavor to it. So we're going to go ahead and get started cooking the meat here and getting all of that ready to go. So give me just a moment. So I've got this meat left over from the other day. It was one night when I was coming home late from work, and I just decided to buy some hamburger and buns and have some hamburgers. Let's see, this was 3.75 pounds. So I took a little out of it to make a couple burgers. One for that night and one to take for lunch the next day. So I'm just going to throw that into the pan here. And we're going to get us something to work with here. This will work. I like that. We're going to try to separate it a little bit. The last time I made the peppers, I used a 93% fat-free beef. This is 80-20, so it's no problem. What you do is you fry it up, and then you put it through the strainer and drain off all of the grease and oil that comes out of it from the cooking. And then you've got a leaner meat to use. So we're going to fry this up. And we're going to go ahead and add the onions and peppers to it as well. That way they'll cook along with the meat. I've got 8 peppers ready to stuff. Here's another tip. If you've got a pepper that doesn't stand up right, let me find one. If you've got a pepper that doesn't stand up on its own, what you can do is just shave off a little bit of the bottom where it's uneven, and then the pepper will stand up on its own. I had to do that to a couple of them here, and but we got those ready to go. Here's my salt, paprika, and garlic. The recipe calls for the recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic. I did 4. These are going to be garlicky. Like I said, I love the garlic, and garlic is good for you. It's a heart-healthy item. Plant. It's a heart-healthy plant. As you can see, I love garlic. They had these at the local Sprout store, a couple months back, on sale, and I bought a couple of them. These are actually these bulbs are actually attached to these stems, and it's a little garlic braid. So I'm set with garlic for quite a while. For those of you who tuned in last night, we made that tahdig, the Persian rice. I want to tell you that was probably the most amazing rice dish that I have ever ate. And if I have time, I may even make some more today. And yeah, that was it was awesome. You have to try that recipe. I had to literally stop myself from eating the crunchy bits. So you don't, when you think of rice, you don't usually think of crispy. My rice is done. You don't usually think of a crispy texture. But in reading about it, I also found out that the Persians do the same thing to the spaghetti dish. They'll put it in a pot and they'll crisp up the bottom, so you get spaghetti and a crispy part of it as well. So anyway, I'll be back when this hamburger meat is done and we get ready to continue. Okay, so the hamburger and the onions and the green peppers cooked for quite a bit until the meat was no longer red, and then I drained it. I drained the hamburger real good. So now I'm going to put it back on the burner, and we're just going to cook it up until it's until the hamburger is no longer grayish looking but brown. Oh, thank you, Lord. I hate it when I drop glass on my... I'm just adding a little baking soda to this, which will help tenderize the meat a little bit. But my kitchen floors are all tile, so if I drop anything, glass or ceramic or anything, it shatters immediately. Trying to bust up any big clots of meat. I wish you could all smell this, the onions, the peppers, the meat. I don't know about you, there's just nothing like the smell of onions and peppers, or onions and celery, or onions and garlic, whatever. It just smells heavenly. So we're just going to cook this until it gets nice and browned. Another beautiful day here in Tucson. It did not rain last night, and the skies are clear this morning. So we're going to have a nice, clear Valentine's Day. Hope you're all having a good Valentine's Day with your loves and your families. I can remember when I was a kid, you didn't go to school without Valentine's Day little cards that you passed out to people at school. And it was a different era. Now I don't know what they do about, I don't know if it's still a big deal in the schools for the kids to pass out the little Valentine cards. And then as you grow older, it becomes all about cards and chocolate and flowers and such. I'll be back when this is browned. Alright, so this is brown, so we're going to get ready to add our ingredients. We're going to stir in the salt. The garlic. Throw in the paprika. And then we're going to throw in the tomato sauce. Turn it down a bit. We're going to throw in our rice. And we're just going to heat that up until it gets a little warm. So I can only get 6 peppers in my dish here. So we'll have to bake 2 others separately. Let me show you what we got in the pot. There we go. Nice little lovely mixture of hamburger, rice, green peppers, onions, garlic, salt, and smoked paprika. Looks like the perfect consistency for stuffing. So we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off on that. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and stuff these peppers. And it would be easier to bring this over here. So I'm going to take a pepper, I'm going to scoop up some of the meat mixture, put it right in the middle, press it down, put a little more on top, press it down, and then I just like a little mound on top of mine. So I'm going to do that. Put that back in the pan and continue with the next one. Not very hard to do, folks. This is kind of a recipe that I think is kind of on its way out. And it's a shame because it's a good recipe. Very easy to make, very filling, and good for a family on a limited budget. don't hear about people eating stuffed green peppers that much anymore. Okay, there's that one. I can already tell I'm probably going to have more meat mixture than what I need to fill the 8 peppers. And that's okay, because we can put it in a food saver bag and freeze it. For later use. Alrighty. Let's get this one back in the pan. Come on, get in there. There we go. Rinse my hands off. And here's what I've got. 6 peppers. And now we're going to pour the rest of this tomato sauce over them. And I've got my oven preheating. Just a little higher. And I'm going to try to cover these just a little bit with some tin foil. It's supposed to be tightly wrapped, but as tall as those peppers are, I'm not going to be able to get as good a seal as I would like. And we're going to, it says to pop them in the oven for 10 minutes, then uncover and bake another 15 minutes. So I'm going to pop these in the oven. Alexa, set a stuffed pepper timer for 10 minutes.
Stuffed pepper timer, 10 minutes, starting now.
Alrighty, we'll see you in 10. Alrighty, so it's time to take them out. And take the tin foil off the top. Uh-oh. Oh, come here. There we go. And we're going to put them back in for Alexa, set a stuffed pepper timer for 20 minutes.
Stuffed pepper timer, 20 minutes, starting now.
All right, we'll be back in 20 minutes. We'll check them and see if they need to go any longer. All righty, we're going to take a look at these. I am going to call them done. There we go. going to set them there. And I tell you what, we're going to get another pan, rinse it out real good. We're going to use it for these other peppers. There's one. Last one. You know what? I might have just enough meat to do one more. This last leftover pepper here. I'm going to set this over here. Shut the oven so I don't lose all my heat. And we're going, whoop, that's too big. There we go. Do this last pepper. Just go around and cut all these membranes. Go over here and pull it out. Go. Rinse it out real good. Now I didn't boil this one, but it'll be okay. Go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pop these last three in the oven and we'll be back. Alright, the second batch is done. I'm going to take those out of the oven. Turn the oven off. And let me show you what we got. There we go. 6 in that container, 3 over here. So we ended up with 9 stuffed peppers that we can, what we're going to do is let those cool. And once they are cooled to the point where we can touch them without being burnt, we shall wrap each one in foil, and then we shall put them in a plastic bag, and we shall put them in the freezer. And that way we can pull them out one at a time for lunch. So that'll get me by 9 days, although I won't eat one every day. but it'll cover quite a bit. It will get us a good coverage for several days. And I'm just drizzling some tomato sauce over the ones that look a little dry. There we go. Alrighty, folks. So that's my stuffed pepper recipe. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. And we will get busy in a bit later on this afternoon. I got to run to the store real quick, and when I come back and a little later this afternoon, we will start on the Mexican street corn, and we'll show you how that's done. All right, we'll see you in a bit. If you're leaving us, don't forget to subscribe so you get notifications of future videos, and especially the Mexican street corn coming up. And for those of you that are leaving, bon appetit. Remember, life is beautiful, and we'll see you in the next video. Alrighty, bye-bye.